Welcome back to the Retro Craptacular, where each month we continue our search for the best bad movies on the planet Earth. I am your host, Aaron, and I am joined, as always, by Matt.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, it's December.
I just say it.
Oh, well, I sing it.
Yeah.
Because I have a heart.
It is December, and that means we have to watch a shitty Christmas thing.
You know it.
And we'll never run out.
No. It's because it's only once a year.
There's only once a year, and there's so much.
So much.
So much.
So much.
The list of good Christmas things to watch is so small.
Yeah. What is the list
And I mean,
of
okay,
good Christmas things?
I have very high standards for Christmas things.
You have very high standards for most things.
Yes, but like especially Christmas things.
Ooh, okay.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay.
Scrooged with Bill Murray.
Oh, you know, I rewatched that last year.
Yeah.
It didn't hold up for me.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I watched it and I was kind of like, oh, Bill Murray kind of sucks.
Yeah, he's Ebenezer Scrooge.
Yeah, but in the end, he's supposed to be better.
Yeah.
And he kind of is not.
Sure he is.
No, he just kind of like ruins the Christmas special that the company's trying to do and just like talks at everyone and tells them what to do and is very like self-important.
And he hires back, what's his name, is twice his original salary.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, he gets back together with...
He seems like he's still a big dick, is all I'm saying.
Nah, I don't think so.
Anyway, I'm sorry to...
I watch it every year. It's a classic for me. Muppets Christmas Carol.
Oh, gotsta.
Is 3.
Yes.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas. The cartoon.
Yeah.
I have not watched the Ron Howard one in a long time, but I assume it's bad.
I did rewatch it last year. It's not great.
Yeah.
But like some parts of it are amazing.
Okay.
Like it's borderline craptacular.
Okay. Well, maybe next year. Let me see. I watch Die Hard every
of course.
Christmas Eve.
That's the Christmas Eve special.
That's my Christmas Eve tradition, is to watch Die Hard.
Love it.
Sometimes I also include Die Hard 2.
Yeah, that's so good.
That's kind of it. Oh, Home Alone.
Oh, of course.
Home Alone and Home Alone 2 they're not on my annual rotation, but like I do enjoy them and I will put them on from time to time if I'm in that particular mood.
Gotcha. What happens on Home Alone 2 again? I don't...
He gets lost in New York.
Of course. It's a grid system, motherfucker. I remember.
Yeah.
Of course.
He gets on the wrong plane because there's a guy wearing a jacket that looks just like his dad, and he's a little kid, so he's only at like butt height for his dad, so he can't tell. So he just follows the guy onto the plane.
Love it.
And then ends up in New York, and then Tim Curry works at the Plaza Hotel or whatever. And
oh yeah. Oh, that's good. I kind of want to rewatch that. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah. We actually just rewatched it last week sometime. It's good. It holds up.
Oh, good.
The first 2 Home Alone movies I think are pretty classic. But that's kind of it for Christmas media for me.
Yeah.
I don't go in for the Alistair Sims Christmas Carol very often.
Which one?
Like the one from the 30s or whatever.
Oh, I haven't seen that in a long time. Yeah.
It's fine. I know my mom likes to watch it every year.
Hmm.
My mom likes to watch Bing Crosby, White Christmas. Don't care.
What about Charlie Brown?
Honestly, I find Charlie Brown and Christmas special like insufferable to sit through.
No.
It is agonizing to sit through. I know it's only like half an hour or whatever. It feels like it goes for 3 hours.
Oh dear.
It is so... I'm like, I don't care about this like neurotic 8-year-old.
It's so tragic.
Yeah, I don't know. I used to watch it a lot, and then one year I was just like, why am I sitting through this? I don't enjoy
You decided it's too much emotion for you? Is it just too moving? Your soul
No.
couldn't handle it?
Like I don't care that he's having an existential crisis about Christmas at age 8.
Yeah.
And also just the line deliveries in Charlie Brown.
Voice acted by actual little kids.
Yeah, like sometimes it's like, you didn't want to do a second take of that? Like when he screams, "That's it," and then what's her name? Fucking like pinwheels for a little bit, and then
Lucy. But
Lucy. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Charlie Brown, no, doesn't do it for me.
That's legit.
Used to watch Jack Frost as a kid.
Jack Frost.
It's the one where Michael Keaton dies on Christmas one year, coming home. He's in a blues band, and they're like a super popular blues band, which is how you know this is fiction.
I liked that
and
joke.
he crashes his car coming home from a gig, trying to make it home for Christmas Eve or whatever. They do a sick blues cover of Frosty the Snowman though, where he plays the harmonica. It's great. And then he crashes his car on Christmas Eve and dies. And then the next year, his son builds a snowman, and Michael Keaton's soul possesses the snowman.
Oh my gosh!
Somehow, and yeah. And then he reconnects with his son and apologizes for dying on Christmas the year before.
Okay. Is it like a beautiful story about grief and like
Kinda.
letting go?
Yeah, it's kind of heartwarming. You know what? Maybe I'll give it a watch this year and see if it holds up.
Because that sounds fucked.
It's kind of fun. It's got this great scene where there's this kid that's been bullying the kid all movie, and then they end up having a snowball fight where the dad snowman can like throw snowballs really fast. He just like whips his stick arms around, like a
Nice.
Gatling gun of snowballs.
Classic.
And at the end, like, you know, it's starting to warm up, and the snowman's starting to melt, and so they got to get him into like a refrigerated truck or something. So they got to put him on a sled and haul him, and then the bully comes, you know, it goes to pig with him, and then he reveals that he's a living snowman, and that's his dad, and he's like, I don't have a dad either. So I was like, I'll help you, and it's like, really? Why are you helping me? He's like, snow dad's better than no dad.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And so for the line "Snow Dad's better than no dad," maybe it can make the cut. I don't know. What about you? Do you got a big list of like Christmas essentials to watch each year?
Honestly, I like don't really go out of my way to watch Christmas movies.
Okay, great. Yeah.
They'll happen around me, and I'll be glad to watch them.
Yeah.
But like, you know, like, there's so many years where I'm like, okay, we gotta watch Muppet Christmas Carol this year, and then Christmas will come and go, and we haven't watched it, and I'll be like, yeah, that's okay.
I will usually make an evening of watching, because now that Disney Plus has The Simpsons. They'll like categorize, like around Halloween, they're like, here's a playlist of all of the Treehouse of Horror, and you can just go through and watch.
Right.
So like Des and I watched like 20 Treehouses of Horror in one night.
That is so many.
Maybe it was over 2 nights, but still, it was a lot. It was like 5-6 hours of just Halloween specials. And I think last year they put out a list of like, here's all the Simpsons Christmas episodes, and so I'll go and watch a bunch of those because
nice.
There's some good ones there, you know, like the one where they have the Funzo, the toy that goes crazy, and
right.
And Homer has to break into everyone's house and steal all the Funzos. Yeah, no, it's good shit.
Yeah.
So I'll do stuff like that. But yeah, other than watching Die Hard on Christmas Eve, I don't really have like I try to sneak in It's a Wonderful Life every year, which I just snuck in 2 nights ago at our screening of it.
That's right.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was pretty good. We did not have as big of a turnout as I thought we would, but it's also we had horrible weather.
Yes, I specifically didn't want to drive.
And so for the amount of people that we got out, in spite of the weather, I was happy.
Nice.
So yeah,
awesome.
We did pretty good.
Yeah, I gotta go find it, but somewhere I have a box set of different holiday specials of Garfield. And
Okay.
no one ever wants to watch any of those with me. But
Is it like all Christmas or is it like various holidays?
various holidays.
Oh, okay, so there's like the Garfield Halloween one,
And then the Garfield Thanksgiving one,
yeah.
and Christmas. It might just be those three. But I love Garfield. And no one else does.
See, I liked the Garfield comics. I'm trying to think if I've ever watched the show.
It's whack. Some of the episodes are absolutely whack, but I loved the show. Definitely did more of the comics. I've read almost every Garfield comic.
Yeah.
But yeah, the show was great. I really, really liked the voice actor for Garfield. The voice actor for Garfield reminds me a lot of. You ever watched the Ghostbusters animated series?
Oh, like yes, but not.
It's bad.
No.
The character who plays Bill Murray's character
Okay.
is voice acted by, I think, the same person
so it's
who does Garfield.
the Ghostbusters animated series and not like the new adventures of the real Ghostbusters or whatever.
No,
Okay.
yeah, that's super old shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't know. Even as a child, I really identified with Garfield. It's a lot of like laziness, but pent up rage,
Yeah.
and I was just like, yeah, that's life.
And you're also obsessed with lasagna.
I fucking love lasagna. That's not a joke. That's my every birthday. That's my birthday meal.
Yeah.
And I am lactose intolerant and celiac, so it is kind of a production.
Oh yeah.
But
I was just gonna say, like, as a celiac person, it must be an ordeal to make you a lasagna.
yeah. But we've got the recipe down pat, and it's fucking delicious every year.
Nice.
And I love lasagna and have eaten it for every single meal in a day before.
I made a lasagna for the first time about a month ago.
Oh. How'd it go?
Sorry, actually, not the first time. The first time in a long time.
Okay.
And I don't know why everyone doesn't do this, but you can buy like regular lasagna noodles, and then you can buy what's called oven-ready lasagna noodles, which are the lasagna noodles that will cook in the sauce.
Oh, yes.
And I
So
always
you don't have to
hated
try to
making
boil
lasagna.
them ahead of time or
yeah,
anything.
and then you're like fumbling with
And
like boiling hot, like wet, slippery noodles, and
they
like
inevitably break, yeah.
And you're like scalding your hands while you do it, or you try to like get some tongs in there, and then they're breaking and falling back into the pot, or you put them on strain them out, and then they get stuck together, and you're like, oh, it's just a nightmare.
Yeah, never do that.
Hated it, right? And so then I got like the oven ready ones, and I'm like, this is amazing.
It's so much easier.
It's so much easier, so much better. I'm like, I want to make lasagna like every week now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, lasagna's amazing.
If I could find lactose-free ricotta, I'm in the zone.
Boy, we really got onto lasagna.
We got yeah.
I can
Garfield.
I
That's what we
can
got
trace
there.
it. Yeah,
Okay.
I can trace it real easy. But you know, do we talk about food often on this podcast? I feel like maybe it comes up. Maybe we talk about the weather more than
We talk about the weather more than we talk about food, but
which is ultimately very dumb
and dull and boring and like insignificant to most people who listen to this show
Yeah.
because they don't live where we live.
Where do they live? Where do you live, listener?
On the internet.
Oh, it doesn't get cold there, but it does get spicy.
Oh, yep. Especially on Twitter these days. Yikes.
I stay away.
Do it. It's not worth it, but it also is kind of worth it. But don't.
It's worth it, but don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like almost like I kind of want you to get a Twitter account just so that you can block Elon Musk. Because that's a thing that we've started doing ever since he bought it.
Oh, okay.
People are like, just block him. Don't give him any traction. He clearly just wants to be the funniest person on Twitter.
Oh.
And he's having a midlife crisis, and he's the richest man ever. So his midlife crisis is, I will buy a social media company and make it so that everyone sees my tweets, because so then I'll be the funniest man on Twitter.
Wow.
And I don't follow him, and he was just showing up in my newsfeed.
Because he can do that, because he owns it.
Yeah, and so I just blocked him. I think it's like someone else that I follow might have followed him, And so it's like, so-and-so that you follows Elon Musk, and he's given like #1 priority for all of his tweets to show up
Wow.
in everything.
I couldn't even manage. I even just like
Dude got dumped by Grimes, and this is how he's lashing out. Like, dude.
I don't know who that is even. And
She's a techno musician from Edmonton.
oh. That's cool.
I guess.
Is she good? Or have you listened to her stuff?
She was all right. I don't know if
I
anything new that she's doing is good, because then she married the richest man on the planet and then was able to do all of the weird shit that she wanted to do. Like,
That's classic musician.
yeah.
Like, if you're financially stable, your shit's gonna get real weird.
but also like just like she got like the color, she got like some sort of like laser surgery to like have the color blue, like the blue wavelength reduced from her visual spectrum because it was like blocking her creativity. She didn't want to see blue. Yeah, like that kind of weird shit.
Oh. I
Mm-hmm.
I don't,
But also, I don't even know if that's true.
because of Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like that was like something in a Rolling Stone interview with her, like talking about her creative process. She's like, yeah, I've had the color blue blocked from my visual spectrum because I don't. Well, it inhibits my creativity.
Okay.
I'm like, blue's a nice color. I like blue.
I like supporting Canadian artists when I can, but I'm
No,
gonna
not
go
worth
ahead
it.
and give this one a pass.
Not worth it.
because I feel weirded out.
Yeah. No.
But,
like, they both seem very mentally unstable and probably need professional help.
Yeah. I mean, don't we all? Really?
Some people more than others.
Yes. But
Some people can get by just fine.
I don't know. I
You
feel
do
like
some yoga or something. This is like, no, yoga's not going to help you.
I feel like therapy is one of those things that like that should be a regular part of like high school. Like, sure, there are
Definitely.
counselors. Very few people care, but like it should be like a mandatory thing that once a week you have like at least like a 10-15 minute sit down with the counselor, and then like call it therapy.
Yeah.
And then that will help to destigmatize it, I hope, for the people who like really need it but feel like saying that you need therapy is somehow a weakness. It's not.
Yeah.
It's so helpful.
Yeah. Self-love
Seriously.
is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we talk about Andor?
Yeah, well, we did lasagna. We did our therapy PSA.
Yeah.
I think it's time to talk about Star Wars.
Oh, speaking of therapy PSA, I watched Ted Lasso, both seasons.
Oh.
And the counselor character that they bring in season 2.
Yeah, I haven't finished season 2, but I do remember that character.
Okay, yeah, she's wonderful.
Yeah.
And like they do a really good job of like talking about like mental health in sports and the pressure that puts on people, and
yeah, which is insane.
yeah. And I mean, just mental health in general, they do a really good job. But like, what a wonderful show.
It's exquisite. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. I didn't know how they were going to like make that like TV commercial into a funny joke, and they did it. And then it also turned out to be like the most heartwarming show I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's so good. Yeah.
He's so good. And it's one of these wonderful things where like in season 2 he does have an arc, but like season 1 Ted Lasso doesn't really have an arc.
He's a pretty static character for season 1, but it's lovely.
But his presence and his interactions with all the other characters cause everyone else around him to grow and improve. And I'm like, that's such an interesting way to write a show.
Yeah.
It's like, like you don't need to give your main character an arc. He can be the conduit for change for everyone else.
Yep.
And I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was
so
wonderful.
lovely.
Yeah. I can't wait for season 3.
This will come as no surprise to someone who loves Garfield, but my favorite character is Roy.
Yes. Roy is the best character in the show, hands down.
Yes, yeah. Love it.
Roy and Coach Beard.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Which took me so long to figure out who he was when I was watching it. But you remember the episode of Community where Annie moves?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's the hitchhiker that claims to be Jesus Christ.
No, my child. I am him. Yes.
Jesus loves marijuana.
Yeah. I remember it took me like 5 episodes before
Yeah.
I was eventually remembered that episode of Community.
Drinking human blood.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, so at this point, all of season 1 of Andor
Yeah.
has aired.
We're going to spoil all of it.
Yep. Buckle up.
Mm-hmm.
So what'd you think?
Do you think Andy Serkis drowned?
You know, I don't. Oh, you started off strong. I don't know, because I love Andy Serkis. I
Yeah.
think that he's a beautiful performer.
Oh, yeah.
He's exquisite.
Like, why has he been hiding behind digital makeup for so long? He's just such a good actor.
He's such a good actor.
With such a good face for acting.
Yes.
So expressive. Anyways.
I want more Andy Serkis in my life.
Yeah. I want
him to come over. No, I don't want that. I don't want to meet him in person. I feel like that'd get weird. But he
comes over, you realize you have nothing to talk about.
Yeah. So Andy, you're
you were in 13 going on 30, huh? That's cool. And he's like, well, at least you're not asking me about Gollum. Yeah.
that would be weird.
I was the boss in 13 going on 30.
Yep.
Do
you know that I had never seen that movie, but I did watch it on my 30th birthday?
Oh, really?
Yeah, for the first time ever.
What'd you think?
It was actually really funny.
Yeah, it's fine.
I thought that it would be stupid, but I had a blast.
Yeah.
Good moments in there. Anyway, Andor. I mean, I really don't want to think that he drowned, because they didn't show it. They made it so that we only have, Andor's perspective, which made it so tragic.
Mm-hmm.
Is that he gets to the end and he says he can't swim, and he has known this the whole time, and that's been like behind his emotions throughout the previous episodes, and it's so heart-wrenching. I couldn't believe it, but they didn't show it, and that makes me think that maybe he managed to not get pushed off by the crowd of people, and maybe he just stayed there, which means that maybe he's fucked.
Yeah.
But maybe he's not dead yet. I don't know.
Yeah, like maybe there's a ship he could steal, a boat. I don't know. Maybe someone, helped him to shore. Who knows?
Who knows? It's very good.
But, man, good stuff in this show.
Yeah, it was really good, wasn't it?
This is another show where maybe the main character is not the most interesting part of the show.
Yeah. That's fair. There's a lot of different stories being woven, and they're like connect in different ways, but we'll probably connect more in future seasons. But
which my one criticism of the show is maybe I would like to get into Andor's mind a little bit more, because I feel like we didn't. But it's okay because everything else is so intriguing.
Yeah.
Everything else that's going on, all the stuff with Mon Mothma is fascinating.
It's so intriguing, and
Deirdre's arc is great.
Yes.
Cyril Khan is the worst character in all of Star Wars, but in an amazing way. Yeah.
Yeah, I really want more. I'm excited for more.
Yeah, I was thrilled with it. I think this is the best thing they've done with Star Wars since they got the franchise.
Yeah, and I hope that they realize that the key is to hire someone who hates Star Wars.
Well, they've already given Tony Gilroy a first look deal to develop more Star Wars shows and films.
Wow, yeah.
Which is great. But, they also gave Rian Johnson a trilogy of his own, and where's that? So
yeah, that's true.
Apparently one of the directives from the Disney board to Kathleen Kennedy was stop announcing stuff until it's ready to go.
Yeah, instead of just we're going to get a Star Wars movie written by Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
Never.
Sometimes. And then they asked Taika Waititi about it. He's like, yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing with that. And it's okay, it's Taika, so he could just be taking the piss, which would be funny.
It would be.
But, Or Ryan Johnson's like, yeah, I'm still gonna do my thing. I gotta do these Knives Out movies first because I got like almost $500 million to do these Knives Out movies. It's like, okay,
I'm very excited to see Glass Onion.
it's really good.
Oh, I can't wait.
And you might have a chance. I saw on Twitter today that he's pushing for an extended release in theaters.
Oh, okay.
Ryan Johnson is going to Netflix and being like, we need to keep it in theaters longer because I guess the numbers have been good. And so he's like, why not make more money? Keep it going.
Legit.
So, yeah. What were we talking about? Andor.
It was good.
Hate Star Wars.
Yeah.
Hire a guy who hates Star Wars. Oh, yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah. She announces too much shit and then it doesn't happen. Because, like, the Rogue Squadron movie has been put on the back burner.
Yeah, that's right.
They seem to, like, just be interested in doing TV right now.
Yeah. Not a lot of film stuff going on.
No.
Which kind of makes sense, given that the film stuff that they did took a real bad turn.
Yeah, I think they just kind of, like... I don't know if, like, the backlash to The Last Jedi coupled with Solo kind of bombing at the box office coupled with the very, like, split reaction to Rise of Skywalker. I mean, okay, I said backlash to Last Jedi. Split reaction to Last Jedi. Solo bombs. Very split reaction to Rise of Skywalker as well.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like they kind of went like, ooh, we don't know how to appease everyone.
Because they can't.
And
Yeah.
I say, don't.
Yeah.
Don't
hire
do
talented,
it.
passionate people and let them run with it and tell stories.
Yeah, but then it gets so confusing because you see The Mandalorian does really well, and they're like, maybe people want Madame Tussauds Luke Skywalker to be running around constantly, looking like a big old wax freak.
Oh, I
with
hated
his
it.
weird robot voice.
Couldn't. Just no.
And I'm
I
like,
hated
this is
it.
not the lesson to be learned here because a bunch of people who are emotionally unavailable decided that this was the greatest thing that ever happened to them in their entire life. Like,
yeah.
So
That's bad.
I mean, they've yeah,
Yeah.
they've done a good thing with Andor.
Yeah, Andor is lovely. Great show. Just, I really, really enjoyed it. I want more of it. Very compelling. Really interesting characters and their stories. Great acting.
Great acting. Really good acting.
Great music.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed the. I mean, the last time we talked about it, I mentioned like there is a theme. It's very simple. It's basically just like 4 chords.
Yeah.
But that it's been different at the beginning of every episode to like start it off, and I don't know. I've been very fascinated by that. I actually realized I've been writing a theme song for a D&D campaign, and then I like broke it down, changed the rhythm, and then used the melody for Andor, and I was like, oh shit, it's the same. It's the same chord progression that Bear came up with for this show, and now I feel weird about it, but it sounds different enough.
Was it Bear McCreary that did that?
Wasn't it?
Music for this? I don't know. Maybe. I'll look it up real quick.
Did I just pull that name out of my butt?
Well, he did. Oh, he did Lord of the Rings recently. But
maybe that's why I had him in my brain.
I don't remember seeing his name in the credits, but composer. No, it's not.
Oh, my bad.
Some guy named Nicholas Brittle. Has he done anything else? Moonlight, If Beale Street Could Talk, Succession, Don't Look Up, Cruella. Oh, he was a producer. What's he been the composer for? Yeah, Cruella. Okay.
Oh, he did Cruella?
Yep.
That was good. That was good music.
Yeah. Big Short. Okay.
What was the name again?
Nicholas Brittle.
Nicholas Brittle.
Britell. Brittell. Yeah.
Britell.
Yeah. No, he did a great job.
Yeah.
It's nice to see like a Star Wars show that's about something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do.
Like there's clearly an idea that's being communicated with it, which is the best way to defeat a fascist dictatorship is an armed uprising.
Yep.
It's kind of the thesis of the whole thing.
A little bit, yeah.
What's the thesis of The Mandalorian?
Nostalgia is king.
Playing with my toys is fun.
Yes.
Yeah. And the thesis of the Book of Boba Fett is playing with my toys is fun. This got kind of boring. Here's my favorite toy, it's The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
I thought that the main message of Boba Fett was actually don't quit your day job.
yeah. Sometimes a career change is not in the books. It's like just you take the promotion, you think it's gonna be easy, and then it's not. You should have just stayed a bounty hunter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Kenobi, I don't know what the Ewan McGregor looks sexy in a robe.
Oh,
In a tunic.
it's so true.
Is the thesis of that.
What an attractive man.
I don't understand the. Yeah, and I'm not saying that like everything needs like a deep, meaningful message, but I do want it to have something more than like, isn't it fun to play with the toys to make the toys go smash?
Yeah, there's a great divide between like immense deepness and vapidness.
Yeah,
Like there's a nice middle ground that
And I
still
think-
has good stuff.
and I think that's where Obi-Wan sits.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this is still a compelling narrative. It's I mean, I guess if you want to like dig into it, maybe it's like something about like answering the call of duty when it's, thrust upon you or whatever.
I know all about duty being thrust upon me.
Yeah. Save it for the Patreon.
Ooh, Patreon exclusive duty talk.
The Caca Talk. But it's maybe about responsibility is there whether you want it to be or not. Maybe that's the only thing I can kind of think of.
Yeah. But I
because I don't want it to be. Wouldn't it be cool if Darth Vader and Obi-Wan fight again? Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, it didn't feel like that.
It
to
didn't.
Me.
It didn't.
It was a good show, but I would say that Andor was more compelling, and
looked better.
and looked amazing. Also, just real quick. I know I really like the music. I also just want to say the sound design.
Yeah.
I watched most of it with headphones.
Oh yeah.
Or through my studio speakers.
Ooh.
I watched like one episode. I watched part of an episode on the TV and was like, no, I want the full experience because the sound design's great.
Yeah.
Even just stuff like the quote unquote bell tower, where there's like the dude striking the anvil. You can see that the anvil has like this is a resonant chamber. You can see the I can't remember what it's called. But like the part that lets the air out, it's like the F
canal.
Sure, but like on a guitar, it has the little F holes. I forget what those are called. But like, yeah, well, so he strikes it in different places and it makes different tones, just like a hang drum would. And the sound of it was so good, like echoing across the city, and it was just all metal hitting anvil, but it had different tones to it, and it was clearly like a ceremonial thing for this epic dude with his
that dude put his whole back into it.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
They showed so much of him hitting that thing, and I loved it every time because I just was blown away by the sound. I loved it. I want more of that show. Do you know what's the deal with more? Do you know?
They just started filming it.
Cool.
They started filming season 2 recently, like last month maybe. So
nice.
I think originally they were gonna do 5 seasons, and Diego Luna was like, I don't know, I'm doing 5 seasons.
Oh really?
It was like 5-6 episode seasons, and then they're like, well, we could condense it down to like 2 12-episode seasons.
Oh, okay, so
it's like 6 less episodes, I guess, but you're still getting like. That's why there's kind of like 2-ish main arcs in or kind of 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
In season 1, it was like you got him going on the run, getting picked up by Luthen to do the heist.
Mm-hmm.
That heist would have been like the end of season 1. Season
Right.
2 would have been him, going back and talking to Bix and being like, I got so much money and we can like get out of here. And she's like, nope. And he's like, fine, I'm going to go bang random hotties on the beach as Keef Gergo, the worst name in all of Star Wars.
It was delightfully
It's
bad.
right up there with Elon Sleazebagano or whatever.
Is that actual?
That's the guy that sells Obi-Wan death sticks.
Oh, of
Has to go home
course.
and rethink his life. So like that's, and then the prison arc would have been season 2.
Right.
But I'm kind of glad they did it this way, because I feel like if we got like stuck in the prison for like an entire season and then we had to like wait for more after that,
Yeah.
like if it was like, oh man, we just had this awesome like, money heist. Like that, the heist feels like so long ago.
It does, honestly.
And then, we had to like wait for like a year or whatever to get the new season of whatever they're going to do after the prison,
Mm-hmm.
because it might have ended with like the prison escape. I don't know if they would have gone back to, but they're mushing 5 seasons into 2
Right.
extended episode counts. So which makes sense, because I remember seeing like they gave Obi-Wan 6 episodes and they're giving Andor 12 episodes. Like, what the fuck is this? But it kind of makes sense now that it's like, oh, they were going to give him 5 seasons and now he's like, I don't want to do this for the next 10 years. We have to.
Yeah.
Which also makes sense, because he's going to look older by the time you get to the end, right? Because this is supposed to take place before Rogue One, and
Yeah, that tracks. Cool, that's good to know then. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the plan is for another season, 12 episodes, and then that might be it.
that'll lead up to Rogue One pretty much.
Right.
And then there's talk about the character of Bix being like the ongoing character from this show if they do more spin-off stuff they want to do kind of in this little section of the universe.
This time period, or?
I mean, I don't know.
Interesting.
If she lives past this, she could go on to join the rebellion and the resistance potentially. I mean, she'd be pretty old by the time the resistance stuff happens, but they could probably do it around the time Mandalorian takes place, right? Like right after Return of the Jedi kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably work. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think it really helps a show to have the end in sight.
oh, for sure.
Really, really helps writing.
Yeah.
That has been felt in Andor.
For
It's like,
sure.
this is going to end with where Rogue One has to happen.
Yeah, we know what happens to him in the end. So it's
Yep.
like this is how he gets there.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also maybe another reason why he's not the most fleshed out character in this, is that it's like it's not really about him in a way.
Yeah, it's more about the rebellion.
It's about the rebellion getting started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like I don't know, maybe they felt that like a show just about Mon Mothma or like getting the rebellion started with a bunch of like new characters would be hard to hook, so they're like, well, we can do it with Diego Luna. But I mean, I also know that like there's a bunch of like, I think this has kind of been like a lower rated Star Wars show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which is too bad, because it's also the best.
It is the best.
But I think maybe people were like, ugh, Boba Fett sucked. Ugh, Mandalorian season 2 was a bit
shitty.
Yeah, you either loved it or you hated it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just about a guy who just can't stop making friends everywhere he goes. It's like,
Yeah, what is this, Pokemon?
but it also does have the best episode of The Mandalorian in it, I think, which is the one where they have to break into the Imperial mining facility to use the terminal to find Grogu.
That was a really good episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I forgot about that episode. That was a good episode. And he has to take his fucking helmet off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that writer-director is not coming back for season 3, which to me is like, oof.
I forgot they were doing a season 3. For some reason, I
Yeah.
thought it had died.
No, it's coming back in March.
Okay.
And I guess I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it, but I said I would watch The Rings of Power, and I never finished that.
How far did you
Probably
get?
won't. I the volcano erupts.
Oh, you still didn't get past that?
Yep.
Okay.
And I liked that episode, and I was excited at that being like the birth of Mordor.
You're so close.
And it just wasn't enough for me to want to keep watching. Was it the 2 episodes left? 1 episode
You got
left?
like 2 episodes left.
Yeah, and I just haven't cared.
All right.
Yeah. Maybe I'll still. Nah, I probably won't. Well, maybe. Yeah. Who knows?
Okay. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I might be the only one. But whatever. They're committed. They're committed to making more of it, so
Very much so, yeah.
I'm happy.
We'll see. Maybe it'll be that, the next season starts, and then I'll be interested to watch it, and then I'll finish the first season.
Could be. This is one instance where I'm like fine with billionaires and mega corporations taking over media, because it's like Amazon does not really make its money from their streaming service.
Yeah, no.
I want less billionaires taking over one of my favorite social media platforms, and I want more billionaires putting a bunch of money into a streaming service that they don't care about and just letting people do whatever they want with it.
Sounds good.
That's what I want.
There you go.
It is Christmas. The holiday season is upon us.
Happy holidays.
And so we do what we do every year, which is watch something that's not good. And then we talk about it.
Hell yeah. That's
This year,
jam.
yes.
Yeah.
This year, it's the She-Ra and He-Man Christmas special.
Christmas comes to Eternia, and you'll want to be there. It's the all-new He-Man She-Ra Christmas special. Monday at 3 on Channel 13.
I don't know if this was like that they did it every year or something, or if it was the only Christmas special that they ever made.
I hope it's the only one they ever made.
I hope it's not. I want to do this every year.
Well, I don't know. It was on a DVD that I found in the Walmart bargain bin for $5, and it's called The He-Man and She-Ra Christmas Special. So I'm kind of suspecting that, like, at this point, if there was more than one, they would have, like, packaged them together.
Yeah, that tracks.
To be like, here's a 4-pack of Christmas goodies from the He-Man universe.
Wow. Yeah.
Why did media companies feel it was important to do Christmas specials?
Money?
I guess.
I'm assuming it's money.
It's probably money.
Probably money, yeah. Also, He-Man is a toy.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas is a time to buy toys.
That makes the most sense, actually.
Yeah.
So
that's why I'm surprised that they didn't do more Christmas specials.
fair. Yeah. Yeah.
I also
So
don't know how long it actually ran for, to be honest. But
He-Man?
yeah,
There was a couple seasons at least.
probably.
You can buy the whole, I want to say it's like 175 episodes or something like that. You can buy the complete series on DVD, and it's like on like 18 discs or something like that. So
Holy shit.
yeah. I mean, if it's DVDs though, right? So
Yes.
that's smaller storage space. If it was on Blu-ray, it'd probably only be like 10 discs, but still
Still
a lot.
a lot.
Still a lot.
Yeah. So growing up, we both saw a fair amount of He-Man.
Yeah, it was one of my go-tos in the kids section at Video Update.
Video Update.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, wow.
Right next to the Value Village.
Yes. That takes me back.
Because and I would make my dad go there because they had a better kids section. Rogers Video was technically closer to our house.
Right.
But I would make my dad be like, no, we got to go to Video Update because they have more He-Man tapes. And my rentals were He-Man tapes, Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, yes.
Occasionally, I think my dad rented me a couple of times like the Fleischer Brothers Superman cartoons from like the 40s.
Oh, wow.
you could get a couple of tapes that just had like those on them, and he'd be like, kid likes Batman, I guess I'll get Superman too. Quality was
Yeah.
animated series was much better, but
Batman animated series is actually great.
the Fleischer Brothers cartoons are important for other reasons. They pioneered a lot of important animation techniques that like nobody other than like Walt Disney was really doing.
Interesting.
And they did it for like TV and film serials and stuff like that. But on the other end of the scale is the He-Man show, which is produced as cheaply as possible.
Oh yeah.
In order to maximize profits and, I mean, really just sell kids' toys.
Yeah, that is the point. So many reused cells, like in every episode. You're like, oh yeah, I saw that exact movement 2 minutes ago, and also in all of the previous episodes.
Well, and the guy who was the president of Funimation or whatever, he did like 18 voices in the show, all under pseudonyms.
Really?
Because there was, so like he did the voice of Orko.
Oh my gosh.
But then also would just do a bunch of the background characters, because there was a rule in the voice actors union where you could get the voice actors to do like up to 3 additional voices aside from their main role before you had to start paying them extra.
You didn't have to pay them extra for additional roles?
No, because it's usually just like it'd be like the woman being like, "Oh, save me, Superman," or something like that, and they would, have the woman that like does Lois Lane be like, "Hey, can you just like real quick, just do like a one line, right?"
Okay.
But you get them to do one line for this character, one line for this character, and then after that, then you have to start paying them per line.
Gotcha.
And it's not cost effective to do that for just like 1 or 2 lines of dialogue.
Mm-hmm. So it is cost effective is to do it yourself.
Yeah, and he would just do it under pseudonyms. And he would do like 18 different characters in the show. Like I think he did like Orko and like Stinkor and like all these.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. So he would do a bunch of voices, and I think there was also like a line count or a word count where you had to start paying them more too, right? So like, you might get like the guy that voices Man at Arms might also voice like the King, because the King only has 1 or 2 lines in the show. And you just like pay them for the session basically.
Gotcha.
So anyways, that's how the voice acting union rules work. The point is they were produced on the cheap.
Yes, very much so.
Because they were only existed to sell toys. And have you ever watched The Toys That Made Us?
I still haven't watched that. No, you did recommend it to me, though.
Okay, so there's that one, and then there's also on Netflix at one point there was just a history of He-Man like documentary that's like an hour and a half long.
Oh.
I watched both. The Toys That Made Us is basically just a condensed version of that documentary.
Oh, gotcha.
Where a bunch of people take credit for creating He-Man and call the other people that take credit for it liars. And then yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's like who put the hockey mask on Jason in part 3. Everyone on the crew wants to take credit for it being their idea, but like who knows. So they in that documentary there's like literally the only reason a cartoon exists is because they were like trying to get people to carry the toy line. So they were going to like, Toys R Us and Kmart or whatever.
Totally.
Department stores, Walgreens were around in the 70s and 80s and being like, "Hey, here's the new line of toys we have." And like, well, people don't know what this is because like post Star Wars, right?
Right.
And they're like, well, there's going to be a comic book in each toy that'll explain the story, and so you need to buy, all the toys to get the complete story. And they're like, "Oh, that's cool. All right." Still not quite sure. And then like just in a meeting, one of the guys like, "Oh, did we not tell you about the cartoon show that we're doing?" They're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're going to be doing a half-hour cartoon show that's going to be like, all about He-Man and his adventures and then the story behind the toys." And they're like, "Oh, well, if there's going to be a, Saturday morning cartoon kind of show, then like maybe we're interested." And then they get out of the meeting like, "What the fuck are you talking about, cartoon show? We don't have a cartoon show." It's like, "Well, I guess we're going to make a cartoon show." And they go and like, "Where's the cheapest place we can get a cartoon show made?" Hanna-Barbera? Probably not. And then they go to Funimation.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So it was literally just a dude in a meeting just being like, there's a cartoon. We're doing a cartoon.
A guy in the meeting was just like, I'm going to make this sale at all costs.
One way or another, I'm getting this commission.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah.
That's so special.
That's how the cartoon came about. So, yeah, I watched a decent amount of He-Man. I was not as familiar with She-Ra.
Yeah, same.
I did watch a couple, but I think there was just less tapes of the cartoon at the video store.
I think there was just less She-Ra in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also definitely watched some, but I don't remember it super well anymore because it was so long ago, and then She-Ra and the Princesses of Power is actually an amazing show.
Yeah.
And has kind of started to rewrite some of my memories about it.
For sure.
Which I'm okay with.
Yeah, most of my, like, watching this Christmas special and then going like, oh, that's Perfuma. Oh, that's Mermista. And then, like, at one point we were like, who's that guy with the mustache? Is that supposed to be
Seahawk?
that's supposed to be Captain Seahawk? And like, oh yeah, totally, that's who it is. And then he pulls out a bow and arrow at one point. We're like, oh, it's Bo. We didn't recognize him because he's white.
Just old white Bo. He's even got the big heart on his crop top, and we didn't think that it was Bo.
No, I was just looking at the mustache the whole time.
Yep. Oh gosh, they all had mustaches.
Also, Seahawk is my favorite character in Princesses of Power.
Gosh. Such adventures.
Yeah,
good times. Yeah, even honestly, Mermista, where it was like,
she's French.
Yeah, she's French and white and a mermaid.
We're like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah, and even though she was a fucking mermaid, and then she was like, thanks, Mermista, and I'm like, oh, that's supposed to be Mermista.
Like, Mermista's not a mermaid.
Yeah, but anyway, so yeah, we have some nostalgia going into it, for sure, but ultimately, like, not enough nostalgia that we're just gonna forgive everything that they do. But
yeah,
so what happens in this Christmas special? We open on...
At some point in every episode, one of us says, so what happens?
What actually happens?
Because a lot of the shit we watch doesn't make any sense.
I know that it opens on Eternia.
Yeah.
And...
there's some sort of holiday happening.
Yes.
And Adora and all of her friends are visiting from Etheria, and then the Queen says something along the lines of, oh, this reminds me of, it's the same time of year that we would celebrate Christmas on Earth.
And the king is like, Christmas? What's
Christmas? And we're like, she's from Earth?
Apparently?
What is this? And so apparently the Queen of Eternia is from Earth.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know.
I didn't either. That's fucking wild. How did that happen?
I didn't know Earth existed in this universe.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
But it does. Eternia's out there, baby.
Yeah, we just gotta find it.
Well, I don't want to. It's really fucked up.
I guess.
It's a lot of danger. But also He-Man and She-Ra are twins.
Yeah.
Definitely that was not... We didn't know that going in.
I thought they were cousins originally.
And cousins kind of made more sense.
But so she was kidnapped by Hordak as a baby and taken to Etheria and brainwashed into being a force captain for the Horde.
Right.
Then this is one of the only episode arcs I remember from the She-Ra show is He-Man shows up in like the opening couple of episodes are like a mini movie.
Oh, okay.
Basically
to like set up the series.
To like set up the series where He-Man comes to Etheria and busts Adora out of her brainwashedness and busts her out of the Horde, and then she gets the sword and becomes She-Ra, and she's like, I'm going to stay here and protect Etheria and fight the Horde. And he's like, that's great. Also, remember to not go swimming for at least half an hour after you've eaten something.
Yes, exactly right. Wow, it's way more compelling in the Netflix series where she breaks out of the Horde herself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, wild.
Giving agency to a woman what a concept.
What a concept. Who knew it would be so fucking good and compelling? Yeah. So they're celebrating or they're decorating a party and they like kind of name drop a few characters, which was helpful
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't remember most of them.
Flutterina
Flutterina,
is
yeah.
the butterfly one.
Yep. And then
Peacock Lady.
what was the fucking peacock lady? It was something really stupid.
Pika
Blue. Pika Blue. And she's like clairvoyant or something.
Yeah,
and
she's
can like
got
scry
eyes
on people.
on all of her peacock feathers.
She sure does.
It's horrifying.
Are they a part of her anatomy? I think so.
Who cares?
Good point. So yeah, then they learn.
Like, who wants to know? Not me, but
So yeah, they're decorating, and the queen talks about Christmas. Name drops Earth,
yeah,
which throws everyone off.
yeah,
And then cut to Adam. That's He-Man, by the way.
yeah.
In disguise as someone wearing a shirt.
A pink shirt.
Very pink shirt, which is a good look.
Well,
You don't think so?
no, I think the Atom costume looks really dumb.
I think it's the hair that's really dumb.
It's really dumb, but also
Yeah.
it's like pink shirt with white collars and cuffs, and then white tight pants.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this, dude.
I think Flameo, my good sir. That is a hot signal.
All right, well, it's working for one of us.
Great.
Yeah.
It's very muscly. Anyway,
He's so jacked.
he's jacked as fuck.
He's so jacked as Adam. It's like, how the fuck did no one figure this out?
Yeah, but it's like,
Like, he somehow gets more jacked as He-Man.
yeah, but every single male character has the same body.
Yeah.
And they're all jacked.
Yeah.
I think with the exception of the king, but the king is robed. So
Yeah.
maybe he's probably jacked.
He's probably jacked.
It's something in the water.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
guess. Steroids.
It's steroids in the water.
Huge muscles, they all got no bulge.
It's 100% true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And they're wearing tight pants. You know.
Tight.
You'd know.
Yeah, so then Adam and Man-at-Arms are working on a rocket ship.
Yeah.
And
Also-
it's going to spy on
Skeletor. Yes. The Sky Spy.
Sky Spy, thank you. That's what it was
Yeah.
called. I knew it was a dumb name.
Backing it up to bodies changing and stuff when you transform.
I thought you were going to talk about puberty.
Adora, in the new cartoon, the Netflix cartoon, she grows like a full foot
Oh, yeah.
when she transforms into She-Ra. Like, she
100%.
at least a foot
And gets ripped.
and gets ripped. Did she do that in this one, or did she just get the outfit?
Just the
I
outfit.
think she just gets the outfit.
Her
right?
hair is also basically exactly the same.
Yeah.
She just has the outfit.
Well, she gets a bit of a blowout, but you know.
A little, yeah, a little bit. But it's basically just the outfit and then turning the horse into the Pegasus,
Yeah, right.
the unicorn, the Pegasus unicorn.
Swift wind.
Swift wind.
Yeah. So yeah, Orko. Like, honestly, 90% of their problems could be solved if they just got rid of Orko.
Yes.
They
if
just like banished him to another dimension or something.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't get back on his own.
No, you fuck it up.
Um.
So yeah, he sees the sky spy.
Mhm.
Was it? Yeah. And is like, ooh, that's cool. I will go inside of it.
Yeah.
And he does. He like was reading a book or something, and then drops
Yeah.
the book on the landing pad, busts open a hatch, gets in the driver's seat, and is like, vroom, vroom, I'm driving a ship, and then touches something, and the rocket launches.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, Man-at-Arms, this is your deal. Like, technology is
Yeah.
your domain. Did you actually make it so that you needed to touch one fucking lever to launch this rocket into space? No failsafe?
Well, is he like breaks the lever also? He's like, ooh, this crack, and then
Yeah, and it snaps off like it's made of fucking almond brittle.
yeah, and then there's like, oh, that'd be good right now, wouldn't it?
Oh, almond brittle.
And there's like wires sticking out of it, and it's like, why you got like, you get the wires coming all the way up the shaft, and what is happening? And then like that ignites the rockets. There's no failsafe here. You don't have a manual shutdown from the launch pad.
This was all Man-at-Arms.
You're head of security.
Yeah.
You don't have a failsafe?
He done fucked up real bad. Real
Yeah.
bad.
And he's like, I don't know, it just took off on its own. And then the queen finds Orko's book
On the
launch pad, and they're like, oh, that Orko, he must have gone fucked it up for everyone. Fucking Orko, god damn it.
Yeah, it's funny because like He-Man and She-Ra chase after the rocket, and then the rocket turns invisible or goes into warp drive or something.
It just like magically transports somewhere else for no reason.
Yeah, it just disappears. But then He-Man is like, oh, thank goodness no one was on it.
Yeah, like, well, that's gone. Anyways, back to Eternia.
Yeah, and then of course they discover Orko's missing.
Some problems just take care of themselves. Here we go. It's like...
But then meanwhile, Orko fucking crash lands, and I totally called it. I was like, Orko's definitely gonna crash land on Earth.
And I was going like, no, he's probably going to go to Etheria, and then they're going to have to like rescue him from Hordak, and that's how they're going to like mash the two universe like settings together.
But no, not at all.
Yeah.
He crash lands on Earth, saves some kids from an avalanche.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
just
what are you doing out
getting
here?
lost in the snow trying to drag a Christmas tree on a sled, and I'm like, fuck, it is Earth.
Yep. And Orko is obviously like, what are you doing out here alone? And the kids are like, well, we're trying to find a Christmas tree. Christmas? What's that?
Yeah.
And
thankfully they do a nice cutaway, because I was
Yes.
like, are we really going to do are we going to do the bit from Charlie Brown where Linus explains what Christmas is? And then...
a spotlight suddenly shines on one of the
Yeah.
children.
And lo, an angel of the Lord shone down upon them. It's like,
Ugh,
yeah.
I would have lost my mind.
I would have too. I would have been like, oh no.
But yeah, it
That
cuts
would have been
away
a scream into a pillow moment for me.
for sure.
But yeah, they do is like, it's like a long time ago in a city called Bethlehem, fade to.
Yeah, it cuts back to, or it cuts to, the Eternia.
Yeah. And they're
Eternia and Etheria. I get them confused
right?
all the time, and I hate it.
It's the best.
Cuts back to Eternia, and then like they manage to locate the coordinates of the Sky Spy, and it's a long string of segmented numbers.
Yeah.
Which the Queen looks at and immediately goes, "Oh, those are the coordinates for Earth."
Yeah, which to me, I'm like, holy fuck, she's a savant.
Or she just has it like tattooed on her arm or something.
Yeah.
Remember where you came from.
But
It's important.
Okay.
Remember where you done come from, Aaron.
Yeah. All right.
Where did you come from? Where did you go?
I don't know. I just hear.
Something. God,
Don't ask
Joe.
me. I just work here, man. But she, I don't know. Maybe she's like one of those people that has pi memorized to like 400 digits or something like that. And it's like,
Maybe, yeah.
think of all the useful things that have been pushed out of your brain because you did this.
Well, she doesn't have a lot to do. She's got this kingdom to run. It's always in shambles, but the answer is always He-Man.
Yeah, just she's like, oh, we got problems. He-Man, fix it. And he's like, I'm on it. And 20 minutes later, everything is back to normal.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the show Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Okay. There's a character in it who's like a house mom, but she's brilliant, but she's just like a housewife, and like all of the intellect that she holds is like burning a hole in her brain that she like plays manipulative games with the other like social elite to like actually feel something.
Amazing.
And it's kind of hilarious and also deeply troubling. But I like to imagine that that's what the Queen of Eternia is actually like.
She's like, I don't really have anything to do except once a week. I gotta just be like, He-Man, we need help.
Yep.
And then I can go back to memorizing digits.
Yep.
Yeah.
So anyway, they lock on to the ship. And
Well, then it cuts back to Orko, and they've finished telling him about Jesus, and now they're like, now let's tell him about Santa Claus.
Right.
And then they're singing Jingle Bells.
jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells.
Yeah. Well, then it cuts back and they're like, all right, let's lock on. And then it cuts back and he's singing Jingle Bells, but the only word he's singing is Jingle Bells over and over again.
Yep.
Until like a little portal appears and he's like, oh, this is we got to go stand over here. Even though.
Yes.
So he's like, he grabs the kid's hands, drags them into like the little glowing orb, assuming that that's going to transport them back to Eternia.
Mm-hmm.
But also the entire spaceship that they're in and the Christmas tree that's outside of it get transported back.
On its sled, yeah.
On its sled.
So, don't know.
It's like a very selective general area transporter. It's like you can send a coordinates and it'll transport everything that's in that, like, you know, radius. But not everything.
Yep. No snow came
no
with them.
snow,
They were
no
in the
dirt,
mountains.
no rocks. There was like a bunch of trees around it. He crashed into a mountain.
Yeah.
We're being too harsh on this cartoon. Really.
No, we're
They're-
not being harsh enough.
Yeah.
We haven't even begun.
With all the pennies they pinched hiring the head of the company to do 30 voices, they could have put a little more effort into those cells, but
But they did not.
they did not.
Anyway, yeah. So then
Do you think they
Orko
just had,
kidnaps
like,
children.
Do you think they just had like a file folder of like, these are the general use cells?
Yes.
Use them in every episode.
I do think that.
They totally did, right? Like,
Yeah.
This is He-Man running left to right. This is He-Man running right to left.
Oh, no. It's just He-Man running, and then they can flip it over if they need to.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess that would work.
Cut it in half, baby.
You can see it on the other side.
Yeah, why do you think that his haircut is symmetrical?
Oh, no, that's true. And his whole outfit is symmetrical.
Mhm.
It's an H.
Yep.
It's got an H.
Yeah, that's correct. He-Man. Yeah, so
Yeah.
then Orko kidnaps children to Eternia. And they're like, can we go home? And Man-at-Arms is like, it's going to take at least a couple days for the water crystal to recharge. Oh, yeah, they needed a water crystal for some reason to do this transportation thing.
Yeah, well, because they needed She-Ra to go back to Etheria. She's like, we got a ton of water crystals in Etheria. And then she talks to Mermista, and she's like, the beast monster is guarding the water crystal. I need you to distract him.
Yeah, also... So yeah, Mermista is super French, and it's weird. But
Super
also,
French.
Beast Monster. They really phoned it in
Yeah.
with Beast Monster. And
It's
then also
like-
the Beast Monster does nothing.
It's like a blue water dragon kind of thing, kind of
Yeah,
sea serpent of sorts.
it's like, kind of reminded me of, like, Ghidorah.
Yeah, it's like a plesiosaur, but it's got claws.
Yeah, and
And
it
it just,
and
like-
it trips,
Yeah.
and then we never see it again.
Yeah, it literally like falls into a crack.
Yeah.
Or
And-
does she like whip it or something like that?
No.
No, it
No,
just
it
falls.
it chases her while she's riding Swiftwind, and then trips
and then
and,
it trips and
falls. And
falls.
she's like, well, those ruins aren't going to hold it forever. Uh-oh. And then a crack opens in the earth, and giant robots come out.
Right. But at that point already, Mermista's like, I have the crystal, you can go. And she's like, great.
Let's fuck off, yeah.
Yeah, let's get out of here. But you pointed out something. So there's robots that are evil, and they transform.
Yes.
They transform from like humans into some sort of like futuristic vehicle, and I'm
Mhm.
like, and you're like, oh yeah, Transformers are evil in this universe. I'm like, well yeah, because they're made by Hasbro.
Yep.
This is Mattel, literally throwing shade
Yeah.
at Hasbro Transformers, going like, these are bad, buy He-Man toys.
Yeah, it was like the way it was worded too is like there's these big robots, and then she recognizes them because everyone knows everything for some reason.
Yeah.
I can't remember like the Monstrobots or something dumb like that.
It's something like that. Yeah.
But like then they transform,
Yeah.
and Swiftwind's like, "Whoa, they're transforming," and she's like, "That's because they're evil."
Nothing that transforms could be good.
It
And
wasn't just like, oh, they're transforming robots and they're evil. They're evil because they transform.
because they transform, or they transform because they're yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's directly tied together.
Yeah, which is such shade. Oh my
So
gosh,
funny.
it was funny.
Yeah. It might be the best part of the whole special.
It was the second best part. We'll get to it.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So then, she fucks off because she has the water crystal. They get the kids, and then the kids need to go home, but it's gonna take days. And they're like, but we're gonna miss Christmas. And yeah, whatever. They're annoying.
Yeah.
Then it cuts to Hordak Prime.
Horde Prime.
Horde Prime. Sorry, that's the name. Who is the gaseous overlord of all things evil in this part of space?
He's the villain from season 3 of She-Ra Princesses of Power, or season 4, whatever the last season was.
Right.
The guy with the green eyes.
Yeah, pretty intense.
Yeah,
good times.
That's Horde Prime.
That shit gets crazy.
Yeah,
I love that show. It gets so good. My gosh. Anyway, and Horde Prime is like calls Skeletor and Hordak.
Yeah.
To be like, a new presence has been detected on Eternia. Almost said Etheria. It's too Christmassy.
Yeah.
I need you to fucking take care of it.
Yeah.
Because I can't have that.
No.
I cannot deal.
No.
Horde Prime is, in his 60s. Family stuff has gotten weird. The Christmas season just doesn't do it for him anymore.
He's really one of these guys like, say happy holidays. Don't say Merry Christmas. He's one of those guys.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so he senses Christmas joy in spirit, and wants it destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or he says, bring it to me. He wants to kidnap the children. He doesn't want them dead, of course.
He wants the children for whatever reason.
We don't need to think about it.
It's going to be evil.
Yeah.
We don't need to know about it.
But of course, he tells whoever brings me the kids is my favorite.
Yeah.
And Skeletor's like, I'll get them first. And then Hordak is like, Ree.
Yeah.
And, yeah. And
so they just have like a little like childish competition going to
kidnap
children, and they're trying to kidnap kids, but then they're also fighting each other for a bit, and I mean it basically ends with Skeletor he gets the kids, but then they crash.
Oh no, wait, I was trying to remember the sequence of events. Excuse me. I was trying to remember the sequence of events because it's fucking stupid, but a ship appears, steals the kids and Orko, because Orko is a child.
Right.
And we're like, oh, I guess Horde Prime got them.
Just did it himself.
But no, it's the Monstrobots.
Right. And then they get like
She-Ra's like, oh, I figured we'd have to deal with them, and hadn't told anyone about them, I don't think. And then and we like cut to them, and they're in prison.
Yeah. And they get rescued by the Manchines.
Yes.
Which are like Care Bears crossed with robots?
Correct. That is an accurate description. And they had some real dumb voices.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So then they get rescued, or they get bust out of prison, but then get stopped by the giant machines, and then that's when He-Man and She-Ra and the gang show up and start fighting. But while they're fighting the Monstrobots or whatever, then Hordak shows up.
Yeah.
And steals the kids. Or maybe it's Skeletor. Fuck.
I think they both show up, and I think they fight.
They do. They fight each other. I think Skeletor ends up with the kids on his bike, but then he and Hordak shoot each other, and they both get shot down. But anyway, what happens is they get separated, and it's Skeletor, the two kids, and a Manchine dog.
Yeah.
Separated from everyone else in the snow.
Yeah.
And Skeletor is like, "March, children!" And they're literally freezing to death in the snow. One of the kids keels over, and they're like, "Please, it's too cold." And Skeletor's like, "I don't give a fuck. Keep moving."
Yeah, that's verbatim dialogue.
Fuck you, children.
Yeah.
But then he like relents and uses his magic to give them giant parkas, and they're instantly warm. And they're like, "I feel warm. Thank you, Mr. Skeletor. You're so nice."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Nice? Don't ever use that word around me." But then like we see it coming, we're like, oh shit, we know where this story is going.
Oh yeah, you see it coming a mile away, and you're like,
Yeah, and
classic.
then he's like, all right, now you're warm, you can march. And they're like, but what about the dog? He'll die in the snow here. And he's like, don't care, leave the dog.
Yeah.
And then they start marching away, and then the kids are sad, and then of course the dog is like whining and trying to climb through the thick snow, and Skeletor's just like, I don't know what's coming over me, and he goes and picks up the dog, and the dog starts licking his bone face.
Yeah.
It's so funny. And then and then like an abominable snowman type deal comes up, big Yeti monster.
Yeah, that just comes and goes.
It just shows up and tries to attack them. Skeletor just handedly gets rid of it.
Yeah, he just
sends it down the mountain.
Well, he just creates a crater. Like it starts charging at them, and he's just like hole, and then just like falls into a cave of ice and slides away.
Yep.
And he's like, great, done.
And then the kids are like now smitten with Skeletor because Skeletor saved their life.
Yeah.
Some real Stockholm syndrome kind of stuff. But
Totally.
But the kids are very wholesome, and they love Skeletor, and Skeletor is like doesn't know what's coming over him. And then eventually everyone catches up. He-Man and whatever, and She-Ra, and I think maybe some of her crew, and Hordak and Horde Prime all show up.
Yeah.
And while everyone's fighting, Horde Prime's ship drops this big claw and is about to take the kids, and Skeletor uses his magic to disintegrate the claw, which disintegrates all the way back up into the ship, and then the ship immediately keels over.
Yeah.
It's like,
And he's like, oh, he's taking out my engines.
it's like, yeah, don't connect your engines to the external claw. That's a big design flaw.
Yeah.
Who designed your ship? Man at Arms?
Yeah.
Idiot.
Probably.
So then, yeah, it crashes, and then, of course, he's real pissed at Skeletor. But then the kids run up, and they're like, Skeletor, you saved us again! And He-Man's like, Skeletor saved you? What the fuck is this shit? And, yeah, Skeletor is just, like...
Yeah, he's like
loves these
they're
kids
like,
now.
Like, you're so nice. He's like, I don't want to be nice. I want to feel evil.
Yeah!
And then they're like, oh, I guess it's just the Christmas spirit. And then She-Ra's like, don't worry, Skeletor. It only happens once a year. And he's like, thank goodness.
Yeah, because he's feeling things, and he cares about these kids, and he didn't let the dog die, and he saved their lives. And he's having such an internal crises.
It's just the spirit of Christmas.
It's just the
came
spirit of
over
Christmas,
him.
yeah. And that's why Horde Prime wanted the kids. Because he knew.
Because he knew.
He knew. They were going to start changing things.
Yeah.
So that's hilarious. It was so funny to me.
Yeah.
That Skeletor has this kind of like tiny redemptive arc for the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, they're like, we need our own Grinch character
Yeah.
in this.
Yeah.
And then
So funny.
It's pretty good.
And he's just
honestly
so grateful that it's only once a year so that he can go back to being evil.
Yeah.
Because that's what he's comfortable with.
Yeah,
you know?
he's that's his space. He likes operating in that space. He doesn't want to like push it outside his comfort box too much.
So funny.
So good. But
yeah, and then they go back to the palace at Eternia and celebrate Christmas, I think. Or they send the kids home.
with flying belts.
With flying belts.
Yeah.
And like...
Well, He-Man dresses up as Santa.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, ho, ho, children, here's some flying belts for you. Anyways, back to Earth you go.
Yep.
And they send them back, and they're like, Mom, Dad, we went to another planet.
Yeah, and the parents at first are like, thank goodness you're here. Like, where have you been? We've been missing you. We went to another planet. Don't make up stories. Go to bed.
Yeah. Also, at this point, it's revealed that the children are like half Hispanic.
The boy's name is Miguel.
Miguel, yeah. And
Yeah.
their dad looks like he just looks like a stereotypical like fat Mexican guy with like a big bushy black mustache and yeah. Like you'd see like a cartoon of him on like a burrito bag or something like that.
Yeah, that is unfortunately accurate.
You know, and it would be like what's another good Hispanic name?
Miguel is just stuck in your head now.
Yeah,
Isn't
it'd
it?
be like Esteban's super spicy taco mix. It's like-
Wow, there you
and
go.
he's like in a sombrero. It's like that would be like on the
Yep.
box.
The
Yeah.
kid doesn't look it.
No,
It's a very white
they
child.
look very white. Their mom looks very white. Even the dad's skin tone looks pretty white. He's just drawn like, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I mean, if they didn't call the kid Miguel, honestly, I probably would have been like, oh, they're doing like a Super Mario riff, because it's also kind of what he looks like.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, and so then the kids activate their flying belts and fly past their parents, who like, cartoonishly go mouth agape towards the kids, and then both turn towards the quote unquote camera.
Yeah.
But it's our camera into their world, but then it's also He-Man and everyone are watching the kids on a screen, and the
Yeah.
parents are looking directly at the screen.
This is one of my biggest pet peeves with like science fiction from this era. And I mean, even earlier, like, Star Trek did this a bunch too, where it's like, why can we see the exact angle that we were just watching? The audience camera was just watching, and now it's on the view screen in the Enterprise.
Yep.
Where does that?
Hate it.
I hate it so much. In
I'm
this
right
one,
I hate it too.
in this one, I can forgive it a little bit because magic exists in this universe. So it's like, okay, it's a magical computer screen that they're watching it on. Sure.
Yeah.
Maybe it's powered by
Water
the
crystals.
vision crystal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, okay, all right. I can forgive that one a little bit, but that's one of my biggest pet peeves ever.
Yeah.
I hate it so much.
Samesies.
But
But yeah, so the kids got home, and then Eternia has its own Christmas.
yeah.
There's a brief shot of a person with a robot elephant head and like a loincloth,
Yeah.
and I'm like, who the fuck is that? And we don't know.
I don't know. Just Truncor or something.
That's Truncor.
he's putting the star on top of the tree with his mechanical robot elephant trunk.
Yep.
That extends and retracts.
That's fucked.
Oh boy. All right.
Yeah, and then that's the end.
Yeah.
That was it.
And there's one bit where He-Man's like dressed as Santa. He's like, "And what would you like for Christmas, little girl?" And she's like, "Oh, brother."
It rips the beard off his face.
Rips the beard off. She's like, "Oh, you knew it was me all along."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Of course I did. We look exactly the same. We're twins."
They sure do.
Yeah, no, they don't.
They don't look anything like.
But yeah, that's the He-Man and She-Ra Christmas special.
It sure is.
I bought it because it was like, I mean, it's the He-Man and She-Ra Christmas special, and on the back it said runtime 51 minutes, and I was like, oh, perfect.
Yep.
We won't have to suffer for too long. And then it was even shorter.
Yeah, it wasn't like 43 or something.
43 or 44 minutes. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like a full like 7 or 8 minutes shorter than what it said on the back. And I'm like, I'm not complaining.
Yeah, no, legit. Blew through
I don't
it.
know if I could tolerate this for much longer.
Yeah, so ultimately, is bad,
Yeah.
but I did have a lot of fun with it at times.
Oh, totally. I'm gonna say it's Craptacular.
It's Craptacular.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with Craptacular as well. This was very stupid, but pretty glorious at times.
I think I would have a fun time watching this with a bunch of my friends.
Yes, definitely. Which is really what we're looking for
Yeah.
in our movies.
So, look, it's probably on YouTube.
Well, probably.
If you really want to seek it out, but like, also just hit up Walmart. It's probably in the bargain bin for like $5. You just get it.
Yep, probably.
You just have that DVD on your shelf forever.
Yep. Ugh, it's fucking stupid.
It's
but,
real bad.
But oh man,
But-
I killed myself laughing a few times.
Yeah, no, there were some very, very funny parts. So, I don't think it's on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm not gonna look. So
That's fair.
That's it. I think
Good
that's it.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it for the episode.
That's it for the year.
That's it for the
baby.
year. We're gonna be
Yeah.
back next year with more shit.
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
That's what
we do it all the time. Anyways, if you like this show, rate it, give a 5-star review or whatever. That always helps. Tell a friend to listen to it. That always helps. You can find our links to everything on our link tree. It's linked in the episode description, linktr.ee/retrocrappod. You can follow our social medias and stuff there. And I think that's it. That is it. We'll be back next year with something. I haven't figured out what we're doing yet, but we're going to do a thing.
That's what we do.
Yep. And until next time, keep watching crap.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells.